Hello, I'm António Malheiro. I'm going to present my mastering I done in the track one for the mastering assignments, and welcome to the tutorial presentation of it. I actually had a reference from my uncle's band called Beautified Junkyard. Here, their latest album called Cosmorama was told to me that it was from the music genre ontological psychedelic folk. It's not completely similar, but there are some tonal elements that kind of sound similar. These tracks that we got assigned to work with, are more popish, more heavy in the kick and the bass, but it reminded me of when I go watch my uncle's band live. The mix engineer has to mix every time in a different way in each environment, and usually the kick and the bass is more heavy. So I think that these tracks sound a bit more like that, especially in the chorus version because it has, of course, more kick and bass. So yeah, it reminded me of this raw mix the mix engineer did for my uncle's band. First things I did before the glue compressor, as they say, was I thought the mids weren't as noticeable on mono. So let's hear it without this. Check out the pads. Much more thin. So yeah, face problems with the mono translation in mids. Also in the lower frequencies, of course, the stereo on the lower frequencies was too much. I have to say I did some adjustations here. Most of these tracks were really warm around in this low mids, high lows area, so I dipped them a little bit so I could emphasize more the mids. I think this genre of music is better with a little dip here. So you might say it's a bit much, but I think it did well. Some controlling in the higher frequencies. Later, I actually had some air frequencies, so this was mainly for the higher frequencies that were a bit too much. And this is some controlling. I pushed this dip up, so when sine wave isn't too loud in mono, so I dipped it in mid and pushed it up in side. So yeah, a little dip here to help with the mood. Okay, so this multiband compressor to control the sibilances, you can totally notice them here. It's definitely distracting though, that sibilance. I think it takes care of this. Quick attack, quick release, pretty big range of action. I think it was a bit too sibilant in the air frequencies, in the super highs. I thought it lacked some air compared to the other tracks. So I used this analog emulation. They say it's good for EQing reverbs. It's known for that, and I use it usually to EQ reverbs and other stuff. So I just a little of a bell here in these air frequencies. After that, I add a little bit more to the air frequencies, just the end of it, so it wouldn't go down with such a big slope. Here, this is for the high mids, so the pads are noticed more. I think it would help. Especially here. Then I added some boost to the emit. Most of these tracks and in a lot of genres you benefit from adding a little bit of boost to the mix. But in this one, apart from all the other ones, uh, a boost in the mix was really needed. I thought it was kind of hollow. So in 1K, I gave just about 1.8 dBs of boosting. Then SSL compressor is said to be raw. It implements higher harmonics to it. It's not known for being a warm compressor, but it's not that doesn't apply that much color as other types of compressors, such as variable MU. So I use it because of its transparency, as I intended to add some coloration later. Attack at 30 milliseconds, I wanted the transients to pop out a bit, and then it happened in these tracks more than the other tracks. CLA 76, as it catches anything really fast, and I want to catch some transients that were too high, so we could have some so it would be homogeneous with the other tracks. Not too much though, but yeah. Then some coloration. I use Shapes. I really like this plugin. I use this distortion as it isn't too noisy or screechy. Usually these emulations, I reckon this is variable MU. The distortion isn't too hissy, tiring, screechy, or noisy mess. It isn't. It actually sounds good. Of course, in the context of the other sound, it will sound better. So here sounds good. I think add some movement to the track. Of course, I must say this coloration was added to the air frequencies, as I wanted to add mostly to the air, also to the air frequencies. I wanted to add some more air frequencies. It had a really big slope in the air frequencies, which the other tracks didn't have as much. So I thought the coloration, this type of coloration would be good, this type of exciter. Lastly, the ozone limiter fast character. I thought fast character fitted well this track. The other ones didn't receive the same treatment. More clicky, I think it did well. No stereo independence. For the other tracks, the treatment was different, but here I thought it changed a bit mono compatibility. Transit emphasis, I just dialed it in until I found the sweet spot. Just about halfway. So, conclusion. I could have made better decisions in the initial EQ, and maybe less compression. Of course, sorry, I forgot to talk about the amount of limiting I did. I didn't limit too much the processing I did, and the compressing compressed enough the music. I got to the LUFS, the loudness I wanted, so just a tiny amount of limiting. Of course, tiny amount of limiting is subjective to genres, of course, but yeah, the transit emphasis also helps here to distinguish if a transit is stronger or not. But yeah, not completely squashing the sound. The compression did its work, and I'm not using the limiter to get to the loops that I was expecting. So yeah, conclusions: could have made better initial EQing, could maybe made less compression, but in either of both of these opinions, I think I might be being paranoid. But let's see what's the evaluations, the evaluators' opinions. Then I will only know the result. Lastly, let's check what's the difference between the unprocessed and processed versions. Let's give it a listen.